Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate that. Today's episode is going to be about the friend zone. I wanted to share with you some tips on how to avoid that if it's something that keeps coming up over and over again in your dating experiences. But also, I did want to remind you, too, that if you're a woman dating men, having a male friend can be a great experience and something that really helps you out in better understanding men and vice versa. So I would not discount the quality of a relationship that doesn't turn out to be a romantic connection. Another friend is always going to be in the positive column. But if you keep having the experience of being romantically interested in somebody and them friend zoning you, we need to kind of look at that a little bit more closely. Stick around. That's what's on the agenda today. Friends, I know a lot of people that I've matched and it didn't turn out to be something romantic, but they continue to have a friendship. The things that I aligned in their interests are sometimes something that bind them together for a friendship beyond dating. However, my first tip is to be clear at the start. Don't be wishy-washy on that giving out friend vibes. Flirt, touch the other person's hand if they're making physical contact with you, lean in, be funny, use your sense of humor to be charming, and really just make it known that you are romantically interested. Because if you don't let somebody know early on that this is a romantic thing for you, they may just naturally assume that it's not. And that's how oftentimes people get friend zoned. They don't make it obvious that they are romantically interested. So don't keep it a secret. Do the things like flirting. And if you need a flirting episode, I will put one for you at the end of this episode, or I'll link to it right here so that you can check that out next after this episode and take some of those flirting tips and put them to good use early on. Don't let it get to the point where there's a question as to what kind of relationship this is you're beginning. Number 2, make sure this is a real date. If you're trying to avoid being friend zoned yet again, don't just hang out or hang out with a group of friends. Make this a real date. Ask this person on a date. Kid around about it maybe. Do I need to bring flowers if I'd like to ask you on a date? Be cute about it. Be a little flirtatious. Get your nerves together and ask the person, hey, I'd like to ask you out on a date. I'm wondering if you're free one night this weekend. Or, hey, I have tickets to go do this and I wanted to ask you out on a date. Use the word date. Don't, I just want to know if you wanted to hang out or wanted to know if you wanted to go with me, because you could be asking a friend. Make sure it's clear that your intention is to ask this person on a date. If it fits into your personality to kid around and say, my dad said I needed to bring a corsage, but I thought I could just ask you on a date. My dad just thought I could ask you on a date. Or if you're a woman asking a guy, say, I'm not typically the kind of woman who asks guys out on a date, but I did want to know if you wanted to perhaps have dinner on Saturday night, or I wanted to know if you wanted to go hear this music with me on Sunday afternoon. If you wanted to visit this museum I wanted to check out, blah, blah. It's a date. Make sure they know it. Number 3, don't manifest being friend zoned by concentrating, thinking, or talking about being friend zoned. If manifestation is a thing, and I believe it is based on what I've seen and experienced, the universe is not going to know you're saying to yourself, I am not going to be friend zone again. The universe is hearing friend zone again, friend zone again. Don't put a negative on it and put it out in the universe. Say, this is going to be my next romantic relationship. This is going to be my next girlfriend. This could be my future wife. Whatever you want to manifest, make it in the positive and don't talk about the friend zone. And if you don't believe in manifestation, don't do it anyway. Why taunt or tempt the universe? Number 4, don't move into the role of confidant, sounding board, therapist. Tell me about what's bothering you. Try to keep a little distance from that role if you can, because sometimes people who have a personality that nurtures and cares for people, it comes across very friendly, very caring, but also not like flirtatious, or romantic. So be aware if that is your lovely nature to be that way and care about people and want to allow them to vent to you or share their problems or their romantic past issues. On dates, we try to avoid talking about previous relationships and baggage from those relationships or bad dates. We don't want to bring that into a new relationship or be a downer. So don't encourage that behavior is what I'm saying. If somebody does go towards sharing that kind of information, do one of my segues and change the subject. You know how to do one of my segues? I'll put a link to it right here for you. It's a way to always change the subject if things have gone off track, and definitely allowing somebody to use you as a BFF sounding board is going off track. So after this date, say what you feel and say it right away. Don't wait to be clear about whether you want a second date, had a great time, want to see them again. Some people are not great at this. I get it. But I feel that being upfront, I love it for all my clients and all my coaching clients and matchmaking clients. I let them know that if they're sure at the end of a date that they want to see this person again, just say it. As you walk her to her car, you had a great time, say, I had a really great time. I hope we can do this again. You don't have to keep it a secret or wait and think about it if you know. So if you know, let that cat out of the bag. You don't have to wait for a response. She might be the person who needs to think about it or wasn't sure, has to, weigh the pros and cons or let it sink in and think about what a nice time she had until the next day. Don't do it wanting an answer, but do it so that you're clear about what you're feeling. And if this person is also honest and says, oh, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that we had a romantic connection, or, oh, I'm sorry, for any reason that they may give you. Or if you find this out the next day or when you ask them out, tap into that gratitude. You know what? Because where is it? Not everybody's going to like you. You're not everybody's cup of tea. So let's be thankful that this person let us know now, and it didn't just drag on with you stuck in the friend zone for 6, 8 months, 2 years. Some people just want to be around this person and just take the time that they can get because they're so crazy about him or her. There's beauty and power in knowing the truth so you can make your decisions accordingly. Number 6, a way to keep from getting friend zone and making it very clear that your feelings are of the romantic kind is to be a little corny about it. Grand gestures of romance go a long way in trying to differentiate yourself from somebody who's just hanging out because they enjoy your company. If you want somebody to know, bring a flower, pick a flower when you go to see them. Ask for formal dates, as I mentioned before. Be chivalrous, open car doors for this person. If you're a woman, write him a little note and leave it in his pocket or on the windshield of his car. Say, had a great time, or can't wait to see you again. All these little romantic gestures that are so often from days gone by can be a little kitsch and a little cute, but they definitely get the message across. Number 7, do not talk about previous friend-zoned experiences. Those are things that happened, experiences you had. That is not who you are. There's plenty to talk about to share who you are as a person, things that make you special and uniquely you, that show that you're kind, thoughtful, and caring. Let that person see that side of you and leave the whole FZ stuff not even spoken. I know they don't do mixtapes anymore. Do they do playlists? Like, can you send somebody a Spotify playlist of all your favorite songs with some really romantic ones mixed in? I bet people do that. Do they do that? I don't even know. But that wasn't my point. There was my bonus. I was going to say that if you don't speak up and make it known that you have romantic feelings, you will have nobody to blame but yourself. If this has happened to you before, you know that's not something you want. So allow it to make you more brave to speak up, be assertive, and be authentically honest with this person about what you feel. Because who will you have to blame if you're friend zoned again with somebody that you think that you have a romantic potential with? That would make it sad and all on you at that point. So to harness that power to be a brave person who shares their feelings. Number 9, I mentioned this recently in an episode about dating somebody who's pulling away or needs or says they need space. And in this relationship, if somebody says that they need space or they are pulling away, which can happen in any relationship, even early on, or while you're still getting to know each other, I would say just make sure in these situations that if friend zoning has been a part of your past scenarios, that you do not come off as needy or trying even harder once the person is pulling away a little bit. You want to, if you're a guy, you want to maintain your masculine energy and not appear that you're chasing them. I know sometimes that somebody's more interesting. If you don't have them or that's questioned whether or not they like you, you're going to work even harder. But I'd say don't work harder. Give them space. Use that space yourself. Actually, you should watch that episode. I will post it at the end of this one. It's a great episode, I think, for something that happens really often in relationships when somebody needs some space to think things through, how best to deal with that. But make sure if you're a fella, you're not giving away your power and appearing as a friend, showing up to be the support system, that you don't let go of all that work you've done to create something with a romantic vibe around it. You can say, hey, if you need to talk, I'm always here for you. But that being someone to lean on, there's a masculine version of that works really well. Make sure you don't turn into the person that they're going to talk about their feelings with right away at the early stages of a relationship. That is friend zoning. We don't do that with guys we're still getting to know. We do that with friends. And then number 10, be assertive, be confident, and when you are able, take the initiative. Do the asking, right? Do the planning of the date. You can ask if there's someplace she wanted to go, but don't force her to make the decision. Even approach her initially with an idea. If she's already accepted a date and you're thinking about where to go, don't ask her where she wants to go. You can say something like, I was thinking this weekend when we go out, I'd like to take you to blah, blah, blah place. Is that cool with you? Or say, hey, have you ever been to blah, blah? I was thinking we should go there this weekend on our date. Bringing that word in there again. So use every opportunity you can to take the initiative to be that masculine energy that takes charge if you're a guy. And if you're a woman, as opposed to taking the initiative, be confident that you are using your feminine energies to attract somebody to you because you're a great communicator, you're open with what you're feeling, you're strong in the ways you're supposed to be strong. And that confidence, man, that goes a long way at attracting people. It's very hard to not be drawn to somebody who feels really good about themselves and makes other people feel great about themselves as well. So remember that being truly interested in another person makes them feel special. Yeah, you can leave somebody a note, right? You can make them that playlist. But being a great listener and asking great questions, wanting to know more about them, is super appealing to people. I'll say it again because I've said it a million times, but nobody ever went away from a date, an hour and a half, talking about themselves with somebody who was truly interested in learning about them, who asked great follow-up questions and said, man, that was a really crappy time tonight. People love to share about themselves, and they love doing it with somebody who seems to truly be interested. So be that person and avoid the friend zone. And don't forget, don't get stuck not saying anything. Say it as soon as you know it. I think that one is the number one here in my list as I've worked my way through all 10 of them. Hope you found that helpful and or interesting. If you did, my mom says maybe if you enjoyed this, got anything out of it, perhaps you might consider leaving a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it if you actually subscribe to the channel. And you know what the ring bell's for. It's to make sure you're notified every time a new episode goes live. Appreciate you stopping by, and I'll look forward to next time. And until then, have a good one.